Hi guys, welcome to our YouTube channel AlgoWise. So AlgoWise is a stock market education platform. Here we'll be creating a series of videos related to stock markets and how to enter the markets with informed mindset. So today we have Molloy with us, who is an active trader, and he has got quite a bit of experience in the Indian stock markets, like more than 10 to 12 years. And he holds a vast portfolio of stocks. So, Molloy, welcome.
Hi, Kalyan.
So,
Thanks for inviting.
yeah,
Okay, so today uh, I think we can cover the basics of the market if you would like to do that.
yeah,
And in order to for the new investors who comes, they want to most of them what they do, they take anonymous tips, right? And then they invest in the stocks, not knowing the basics. And at the end of the day, when something happens negative to the company, they end up losing money because they don't know why they are entering the stocks in first place, and when to exit and why to exit, right? So
correct,
some basic levels of studies are to be done if you want to maintain an active portfolio, or if you want to invest in the market, or even if you want to trade. Okay, otherwise it's like holding the mutual fund is good, but if you want to be in share market, then you have to have some basic informations. Okay, today we'll try to cover up the highlights of how a person typically studies the market. Okay, so there are like mainly broadly we can say there are two analysis which we do in market. One is the fundamental analysis, and the other one is the technical analysis. Okay, so there is another part, quant analysis, which is done for the derivatives, but we'll cover that in a separate video. But let's understand the basics of technical analysis and fundamental analysis first. Okay, so in the fundamental analysis, it's been quite effective for 30-40 years. Most of the wealth creator uh, who has created money has done that by fundamental analysis, because since the market goes up, if you stay in the market, then you make most of out of it, rather than doing short-term trades. Because in the short-term trades, what would happen that you may lose money, and you may, there is a equal probability that you can make money. But if you can identify good stocks, and if you stay invested, and whenever there is a correction with conviction, if you can buy those shares knowing that these companies are fundamentally strong, then that compounding every year would help in creating long term wealth. Okay,
correct, correct. So,
so
lot of the what so you personally prefer investing, rather than trading, is it like from your
uh,
personal point of view?
I do maintain an active portfolio, but
Okay,
I also do tradings, swing tradings,
okay,
based on the patterns. Okay, so for doing swing tradings and maintaining active portfolio, you need to have a knowledge of both fundamental analysis and technical analysis.
okay,
Okay, so before going in details of the fundamental analysis, just I will give a brief of what exactly is fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and what is the difference between them. Okay,
okay,
so for fundamental analysis, we need to study the underlying value or the intrinsic value of the share. Okay, so how to do that? It depends upon many parameters. It depends upon the economic data. It depends upon the financial data of the company. Okay, it also depends upon the macroeconomic factor, microeconomic factors. Macroeconomic factors are like global factors like the GDP, the people like who are gaining job or losing job. We track that data, right? And that is called unemployment rate. That is one of the parameters with which we can track the data. So apart from that, we have the inflation rate, we have interest rate. So we look into these parameters, and these are the macroeconomic parameters where the promoters of the company don't have any control, right?
or
So
maybe macroeconomic events also, right? global
Yeah,
events which
macroeconomic, yeah. So these global events, the company is a mere puppet, and they don't have control over these things. The
correct.
microeconomic factors are where the vision of the promoters. Okay, so when to decide that we will go for revamp, what product they should manufacture, understanding the market, and doing more production of the products which will give them higher operating margins. So these calls are like microeconomic factors which can be influenced by the promoters, but the macroeconomic events are beyond them. Okay,
Correct, correct,
so
correct.
these all factors can impact the pricing of the share. So when we do that study in detail, that is called fundamental analysis. For technical analysis, you don't need to know in depth the business of the company. Okay, so for technical analysis, there are like 1,000 companies. You cannot study the 1,000 companies in details, right? But what you can do is that whenever our share is making some movement in the positive side or a negative side, then it is impacted by some news which you may not be knowing, right? But seeing the chart patterns, seeing the volume of trades which are happening, you can analyze whether it's good to invest in the stock, and because of some positive news. And then when the positive news price is already factored in, then you exit from the stock. Okay, so that is a technical analysis where we study the charts and the patterns. And also the difference between the technical analysis and fundamental analysis is the tenure of investment. Okay, so in technical analysis, it's like you're more of a riding the wave and exiting, right?
Okay.
But in fundamental analysis, it's like more of understanding the business and the principles, and staying in that company, and following the quarterly results to decide whether to make more investment or to exit that company. Okay,
And
so
also fundamental technical analysis is more about, the short term gains, what you're looking at, or maybe entering the market, entering the market at the correct price point, by looking at the graphs, correct?
right. So it's all about understanding the charts and the graphs, understanding the supports and the resistance. And so it gives a if we have a combination of both, if you know both the technical analysis and fundamental analysis. So fundamental analysis can give you which shares it can identify great shares, right? It can identify great shares, but then great shares are always overvalued, right? So then if you know that some companies grow good, but it's running at a very expensive valuation, you go ahead and invest in that share, right? Then suddenly there is a 20-30% correction, then you lose money out of it. So if you know the technical and fundamental analysis, then what would happen? From fundamental analysis, uh, you are identifying a share. The technical analysis would give you an entry point, a correct entry point. Okay, so that is also important, so that you invest at the correct time. So for that part of the study, the technical analysis would be required.
Correct, correct. Because lot of traders, if you see, who are like doing frequent in and out in the market, so they would mainly prefer the hourly chart or even the daily chart, the candlestick patterns and all in stock specific or maybe Nifty. So they do a lot of in and outs, and because of that, they go very much into the minute details of the chart to correctly identify the entry point basically. And so it holds true for the exit point as well. So a lot of things, some like what I have heard from other traders, like they a lot of the news is already factored in the technical charts, and then the event takes place a little later, but the chart has already figured out based on the historic data.
Right. So
Yeah,
and other things are like in the as a retail investors, we all always come to know any event at the last stage when already the price is factored in. Okay,
correct.
so even if you have taken a good stock, and because of inflation and any other global event, if it had a very poor result, by the time the actual numbers are published in the site, it may happen that the trend may look weaker even before the results. Okay,
Correct.
so
So basically,
because
market is already factored in that thing.
yeah, so even before the results, if you see that 2 days before the results, the prices are looking weak, then most likely it may happen. There is still 30% chance that the results would defy the market expectation and may put in a stellar results. But that chance is like 20 to 30%. Okay, so 70 to 80% of the time, it shows up in the chart. The stock looks weak, and ultimately it gives up post poor results, and then there is like 7 to 8% correction, and then you decide that I will take exit from this share. But already the price factored is already factored in, right? So if you are like knowing the technical analysis, then you can understand that the share is looking weak even before the results, and if you feel like you can exit, you can make an exit. So that's why it's not only about fundamental analysis, it's knowing both the things, then only it would be giving you good returns in the market.
Correct, correct. Yeah, because market is like that is the supreme thing. So uh,
Right.
so whoever has a good like knows the fundamentals as well as the technical analysis like properly, so he would be actually identifying the current time to enter the market, and then he would make a profit out of it. So that is always there.
That's
So
correct.
yeah, so Molloy, we'll end this video here, today's video, and what we can do, we'll have a second video uh, explaining more on the details of fundamental analysis, because these topics are itself huge. So what we can do, we can have topic by topic video, and then as part of the series. So in the second video, we can go in detail about how to analyze a stock, like how to do fundamental analysis, and explain all the terms and factors, so that it's more detailed, and then every other any like a new investor or trader is able to grasp it very easily. So that would be better, right?
Yeah, that would be good. So I can uh, take an example of a company, and maybe I can show how to do the fundamental analysis. So we'll do step by step, one at a time. So
Yes, yes,
let us
yes,
follow us here with example, so that
yes.
people can correlate what exactly I'm speaking. So and that
Yeah,
would be great if you can cover it part by part.
fine, fine, fine. Sure, sure. So let's do that. Let's catch up for the second video, and talk about fundamental analysis in detail. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so
yeah,
much, Kalyan.
yeah. Nice having you, Malloy.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
always a pleasure.
yeah. So we'll meet up in the next video. Bye bye.
Sure. Bye.